Hey guys, Lemon02, getting ready to test a new deck out that I'm building. It is a 5-color aggressive deck, or I guess you could call it 5-color blood. It has blue in it as well. We're going to see how it does here. So we're testing it out against AJ Limpy. We're going to keep this hand, mostly because of the power of Aether Vial. So keep. Oh, yeah. My bad. I am evidently a card over. I think it is one land card. So Power of Aether Vial, we'll have turn 2 Fintorn Elves, which is not as good as turn 1 Fintorn Elves, and obviously we would prefer to cast the Bloodbraid Elf, but Goyf is fine. Looks like we have a white-based deck that we're playing against, and Huntmaster will be good once we hit 4. Question will be, I think we do go to 4 with it. Yep, we'll put a counter on it. Land is strong. So I think here, I think we're going to wait till his turn. We'll cycle off the Unearth, and then we'll put the elves into play. The Unearth will make the Tarmogoyf bigger, and if he decides to kill the Goyf, well, that's fine. Or I'm sorry, if he decides to kill the elves, then I'll have the Goyf and it'll be significantly larger. Yeah, I'm going to do it. And I will cycle this off. I think he's F6 at this point in time because I didn't see priority go back to him. And we will go to 2 on this thing. Obviously, well, now we're just going to go for the Bloodbraid. There's not much you can do. I think here we just get Scrubland to fix our mana the best. And we don't have many worries that he's playing counter magic. There is like 1 or 2, like there's like Spell Tithe. But I mean, if he gets this, he gets it. That's all right. I'm gonna put the Goyf down. Obviously, I could put Containment Priest down with Aether Vial, but then Aether Vial becomes dead. Although we've hit our lands quite notably. Although we did keep a greedier keep with just 1. But that's the power of Vial. That's why we kept the deck. I don't think he'll blow up Vial anymore. Now, if we'd missed lands a couple times in a row, he may have just hit the Vial. Oh, that's fine. Again, you know, we played it out just for that reason, so it could get removed. The unfortunate thing is it doesn't die in that exchange there. So we will put in Goyf. Yep. And I think we do go to 3 here. I know that means we can't put the Containment Priest down. But you know what? Frankly, I'm okay with that. So we'll see what we get here. Hopefully a critter. No, it's a Maelstrom Pulse. So no, I'm not going to cast the Maelstrom Pulse. It's a miss. I think that may have been the card that accidentally got in there. I don't think that was supposed to be in the deck. I think it's just Vindicate, but maybe I have both. Well, obviously I have both in this deck. Containment Priest can probably go to board, actually. Could be a Wrath of God effect. What does this thing do? You may exile target artifact. Okay, he gets rid of the Vial. I'm actually fine with that. Let's draw first, see what we get. Put a creature card into the graveyard, plus an enchantment, making the Goyf size huge. And attack for a lot. That's 9. So if he fetches or takes 1 from anything on our board, I mean, we're pretty well set up here. We've got Helix plus the Containment Priest for surprise 2. And I don't think I'm going to miss the Vial. The Vial did its job up to this point. Well, I could have like a Baneslayer or something like that. But if he does, we could just attack in. Well, does Goyf do it? Okay, he can exile one thing. Probably Goyf. But he's still dead. Yeah. Well, that dude's cool and huge. Yeah, let's just cast him for fun. The mana works shockingly better than you'd think in this deck, which is funny to me. It doesn't feel like it should. Mostly just because all it plays are all of the best non-basics. So the 2 damage ones, the 0 damage ones, and the fetch lands. And then it's got, so against this deck, we saw 2 enchantments. Want Castigate? I don't know about that. Duress may be right. I didn't see any creatures. He's running black and white. I think we just run it back. Kind of want to see how the deck runs. So let's take one more card out, though. What was Snot supposed to be in here? I'll have to go through the deck again. Like I said, I think Containment Priest can probably come up to the board. And maybe we take out Castigator, Celestial Purge. For now, we're going to run... Well, I think I'd rather have a different card than the Priest. I think I'd rather have Golgari Charm in this matchup. Because it appears that he runs a significant number of enchantments. And I'll be right back, guys, while our opponent is... Oh, looks like he's ready. Yeah, it needs a green source, but the hand's keepable because it has Mother of Runes. And he's on the play, so we'll draw here. Obviously, we're pretty far away from casting a Bloodbraid Elf, but we'll see what we can do. It's not that far from casting Doran. Well, there's our green source. Probably green-red. And we'll cast her out. And if he has removal, he'll probably pop it on her. One of the few non-mana dork 1-drops. Actually, another one that probably needs to be in here is all right. Blood Artist is pretty good. I think here we just take the 2. And see what he gets up to. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna take the 2 though, so I can bolt that thing. I want to be able to cast the Doran the following turn. We're gonna take a lot of damage off of our lands. Well, it does regenerate. And Restoration Angel is not looking so hot right now. I think actually here... Well, never mind. We actually can't cast out the... Can't cast out the Doran because of the way we played our lands. So that was kind of bad on our part, but I actually think when I saw this, I'd rather play it. Nope, you're go at it. Not attacking. Now his non-basics, which doesn't look like he runs a lot of them, are going to come into play tapped. And next turn we'll probably Bloodbraid. Thalia is a strong one. Alrighty. So he's going to regenerate his thing and try to drain us out. No, he's going to let it die. Well, you have to have 2 removal spells to kill Thalia. Well, that flies. It's almost worth consideration to do Doran because it's a heavier clock, but Bloodbraid could hit removal. So again, I think we want... you know, it's probably green-white. And Bloodbraid, maybe into removal, but more than likely a creature. It could really be either, though. That's not a bad one. So he's going to go up to 16. We go down to 11. He can attack if he wants, but, you know, next turn we may just leave up the Angel. We've got a pretty hefty backswing. We've got a backswing for half of his life. Yeah. So he's going to try to kill us because of the damage basically we've done to ourselves. We've done pretty much all the damage that has been done, with the exception of 2 damage to ourselves. All right, so down to 9. Okay. Well, we can actually blow that up. Well, down to 8. He's up to 9. But unless I am missing something, this should be lethal. First strike will keep the life gain off. And any removal he has, we can just blank. Well, what are you going to target? I mean, we could have blown it up regardless. Yeah, we'll cast it for lulz. Draw a card at the end of, I guess, killing him. So that should be 9. Okay, well, Five-color greedy appears to have gotten there for this one. So we do need to remove 1 card. I don't think this is a lot of consideration. I think this card comes out. I think we do want it board. Sulfur Elemental seems kind of meh to me. Let's try taking this out. We've already got the Fire Covenant for the Weenie matchup. And I'm going to go on a quick pause, guys, and see if he wants to play another one. Well, guys, I think AJ's had enough. I just saw he was on because it's a weird time over in the continental United States. He's in England. I'm in Germany right now. This is the deck. It's obviously very, very low to the ground. Very, very greedy. Only 34 lands. It is 5 color. Utilizes a lot of card engines like Cascade off of this thing. Here's another one. More card advantage engines like Huntmaster's a card advantage engine. Marchesa for obvious reasons. You have this guy, which is another Cascade. Dark Tutelage. Timna. Some of the best removal. Bitter Blossom, kind of a card advantage engine in a way. It makes 1/1s every turn, which is not bad. Dustwatch Recruiter, I don't think I've ever activated it in this deck. Tireless Tracker, another card engine. Even Mind Sensor, I think, can be looked at as a card engine if your opponent is playing a deck where the deck is weak to it. And then going down, you have this card engine, card engine. Colgan's Command is a 2-for-1 if you use it right. Um, Dark Confidant 2-for-1 or 2-for-1 value generally speaking. Arc Trail, same principle. Um, Against the right deck, Scavenging Ooze is 2-for-1 advantage as well. Going down, Dromoka's Command is often a 2-for-1. Gaddock Teague in a lot of ways because he's a denial engine is a card advantage engine. In a lot of ways, just because if you're playing against a deck where he's relevant, sometimes you might board him out. It stops so many cards. Those cards are essentially just dead, and they draw them and they do nothing. I want to try the Unearth because this is obviously a very low to the ground deck. The rest of the cards in the deck, and actually Mother of Runes is kind of a card engine as well in a lot of ways because she makes a lot of cards dead. Basically, she's a 2-for-1 because it takes 2 removal spells to deal with her. The rest of the deck is essentially the best at fixing. So you have this thing, which is kind of hinky, this thing, which is good, Lotus Cobra, which is good, and then the best of beats, like Tarmogoyf. Ruhan is a card I'm trying out. It's just mono huge for 4 mana. It's a 7/7. It must attack every turn, but this deck always wants to be attacking. Falcon Wrath Aristocrat, I do like the haste option, plus the indestructibility from sacrificing other things in the face of wrath effects. Siege Rhino, it's one of the better cards, one of the better creature cards ever printed. Restoration Angel, similar idea. It's only a 3/4, so smaller body. Could go with Lightning Angel. I think this effect is just slightly better. We do have Finks in the deck. We can save things from removal. We do have a Siege Rhino. We do have a Hunt Master. But otherwise, it's not extremely great. For the most part, it's just, protecting things or, just flashing in there to fight is a 3/4. In some ways, I mean, this is a card advantage engine too. Not engine, but it's a card advantage card. The only true engines are probably cards like Yidris is kind of an engine-y card. Dark Tutelage is an engine card. And then Dark Confidant is a straight-up engine card, and so is Sword of Fire and Ice against the right decks. So is Tireless Tracker. This is actually an engine too. The rest of these are kind of like burst engine capability, like they give you burst advantage. Well, correction, this is an engine. This is an engine. The rest of them are just burst capability, so they're essentially like your ancestral recalls, whereas these are your Phyrexian arenas of the deck, which the deck does not notably run because it's 2 black mana cost, and I think we're better off just running Dark Tutelage. It's easier to cast in the mana base, and you're not going to typically, the most you're going to hit is a 4, so the most you're taking is 4. On average, you're probably taking 1.5 to 2 with this deck, somewhere between 1 and 3 damage. Very light mana base, obviously 34, and then the board is actually kind of interesting to me. So again, theme of efficiency, Containment Priest, which obviously is a non-bow with our own Aether Vial, as you saw, and that was actually the 101st card that we had in the deck. Rise Fall, a card that, I do enjoy playing. I actually kind of like this recursion effect plus tempo effect that we can have on the game. And likewise, I do also like the fact that we can also just hammer their hand in the mid-game. You get the last 2 relevant cards out of there. Golgari Charm, because we are a greedy deck. We need answers to enchantments like Back to Basics or Blood Moon. We do have a couple main deck ways of answering it, such as Kasali Pride Mage, Dromoka's Command, and to a lesser extent, Vindicate and Maelstrom Pulse. However, obviously, Maelstrom Pulse and Vindicate are not instant speed. So if they do resolve it, we can run into issues. Additionally, I believe we have Abrupt Decay is also in here. So really have three main deck answers to that card that you can do on their turn. Once they pass it back, it's obviously much harder to fix mana on my own turn if I have to allow that to resolve. Obviously, Back to Basics is easier. Like if you're not tapped out, Back to Basics is a lot easier. Plus, you can draw into answers. But if they do resolve it, then really you're hoping that you can play a card like Sylvan Caryatid or already have it in play, where you can get the first mana and then Servant of the Conduit or one of these mana dorks over here to make the green and the black mana. So pretty cool deck. The most efficient removal, obviously. Ghastly Demise, one I'm trying out. I do like early interaction and cheap interaction that scales well, which Ghastly Demise does. Fatal Push, same thing. Path Plow, obviously some of the best removal ever made. The 2 best cantrips probably ever printed, Ponder and Brainstormer in the deck with a billion fetch lands, which tends to be nice. Burst Lightning, just very efficient in scales. Firebolt, card advantage. I guess that could probably have gone over in the pile of card advantage cards. This is essentially, it's a shock that you can play back later to kill them or to knock out a small creature, etc. Lightning Bolt, just great card. Avacyn's Pilgrim fixes, Elves of Deep Shadow fixes, Finhorde Elves ramps, Noble Hierarch fixes and ramps. I think we Llanowar Elves classic here. Deathrite Shaman, Planeswalker basically. Aether Vial, another fixing tool. So if we do get Blood Mooned or back to basics, this right here can allow us to get back into a game, and if we keep it in play, allow us to stay in the game. Typically, you're going to ascend with it. If you don't have a 4, you may stay on 3. Your 3s are pretty powerful. And if you draw into a 4 on the following turn, you can just drop it. Your 3s are more likely. And really, beyond all that, the cards themselves are just some of the most efficient large threats and removal in the game. So if they're not building card advantage, they're either killing their cards, either in their hand or on the board, or they're beating the living crap out of them. A couple cards that don't, like Shardless Agent does not really beat down that hard, but it's a 2-for-1, like right off the bat. Knight of the Reliquary fixes, gets huge. Luxon Smiter obviously can't be countered if it gets discarded by like a Liliana or something like that. You've got a 4/4 right in play. Savage Knuckleblade, trying them out. It's huge. It protects itself. It is fast, and it can scale pretty well. You can get to a 6/6 for 3 mana, which is fine. Kolaghan's Command is obviously great 2-for-1 advantage. Kitchen Finks, just one of the more efficient persist threats ever made, staple in Modern. Tymna, trying her out. She is a card engine. Really, it's only 1 a turn. You're only attacking 1 opponent with these decks. It's 20 life format. Thalia, in a lot of ways, kind of a card engine too, in her own right. Not in the way you'd think, though. She essentially puts suspend on all of the opponent's cards they play, because unless they have an ETB, they tend not to affect the board as rapidly. Even Mind Sensor, just very disruptive. Dark Tutelage, Engine, Tireless Tracker, Engine plus just huge threat. Geist, one of the better blue-based threats ever made that is relatively castable in this deck. You can see we don't have a lot of double mana requirements. Actually, I don't think we have any double mana requirements in the whole deck. Because with this mana base, you're fetching a lot, and oftentimes if you're finding a double requirement for a card, you're doing it at the disadvantage of casting your next play. So as opposed to like True Name Nemesis, I've selected Geist of Saint Traft for this deck. You'll note also this deck plays no Planeswalkers, I guess other than Deathrite Shaman, which is kind of like a de facto Planeswalker for 1 mana. But then you have Anafenza, Doran, just the Abzan beaters of the world. Never noticed their mana symbols were kind of reversed. The swords, which are really the only true 5-drops in the deck, that are just generally solid for an aggressive style, low to the ground strategy like this. They give you random protection. And they can do a hell of a lot in a lot of matchups. And then, like I said, like once you get up here, Yidris, which is it's big for 4 mana, plus it tramples, plus even if it dies in the first combat, if you cast numerous spells that are 2 mana or up, you're going to get value off of it. You're going to get like, a 3-for-1 or a 4-for-1. It's basically like a 5/4 that, maybe gets in 2 to 3 damage, dies in the process, and then you get a couple extra cards out of it and remove a bunch of their board. Ruhan, just mono big, attacks every turn. This is the card that I may replace at some point in time because it doesn't have trample, but it is just huge. Siege Rhino, just a beating. Marchesa, just a beating. Card engine beating. Huntmaster, just a beating. This thing, also generally a beating. Falcon Wrath Aristocrat, closes games out quick. So this is the deck. In your board, as you can see, you have some anti-red tech with this card right here. The Blast Package, which you're not going to always have fixing for right away, but eventually can deal with troublesome permanents. The Red Blast for the Control Mirror. Forked Bolt can go against red deck wins. Anything with a lot of mana dorks. Or White Weenie. Duress against the more control-based decks. Golgari Charm, flip card, control, or extreme aggro, permanent-based aggro. Deathmark, generally green X-based decks. Dark Blast, green X, or White Weenie. Castigate, your control-style deck. Celestial Purge, red decks, or in like Abzan Mirrors, it's not bad. Containment Priest, reanimation combo, and then Rise from the Grave, or Rise Fall, I can see in a lot of different matchups. I think it's a flexible card, so I put it in there. Since the deck, I think it's actually pretty fun to play. You kind of just got to see that game. So I guys hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll hopefully post a couple more matches of this, and maybe we'll be playing it this next weekend in the Chainsaw Massacre event. Take care now.